My name is Steve Zeltzer. I'm with the Higher Education Action Team, and also I produce a labor show called Work Week in San Francisco on KPOO Radio. And we're here today to call for more classes. You'd think that that would be a radical thing to have more classes in City College, but that is actually what we're facing because students aren't able to get the classes to get educated at City College. And we're also here to say that students need parking because all this development here, all these buildings and the Avalon condos means that students aren't going to be able to go here, working class students, because of this overbuilding of condos in San Francisco. And also, we want to build the Performing Education Arts Center. And I just talked to a student here about why there isn't a Performing Education Arts Center, because the people of San Francisco, for 30 years, have been passing bonds saying we need to build this Performing Arts Education Center. Apparently, it hasn't even started yet. So we're demanding here today that they start the construction by spring so we can have a place where the musicians, the violinists, we can have orchestras, and we can really grow our arts and culture at San Francisco City College. That's a demand that we have to make. Have a beautiful place where we can have this music all the time. And that's part of the issue that we're dealing with. The other thing that I want to say is that San Francisco is a very wealthy city. There are over 50 billionaires in San Francisco. In fact, it's one of the wealthiest cities in the world, San Francisco. So we have to ask ourselves, why are students unable to get classes? Why are they laying off faculty members? That's a real question, because this money, this wealth in San Francisco should go to the people who live here, the people that work here, including the students and working students who want to be able to get training, want to become nurses, all kinds of jobs, training jobs. So that's part of what we're here today. And we have our first speaker. It's going to be one of those working class students who's a union activist. She's the vice chair of the community healthcare of SEIU 1021, and she's also here a student in the labor studies program. So let's welcome Cheryl Thornton, brothers and sisters.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Cheryl Thornton. So, I'm here today to express my full support for Free City College, a program that represents critical investment in the future of San Francisco. Free tuition for our residents opens the doors for opportunities to thousands of individuals who otherwise might not have a chance to pursue higher education, somebody like myself. This initiative not only benefits our students, but it also strengthens our entire community in San Francisco. City College of San Francisco is an exceptional institution that has served our city for decades, for offering associate's degree to prepare students for transfer to a four-year university. City College gives students a strong foundation. Through the programs like Transfer Admission Guarantee, successful students have an opportunity to continue their education at one of 6 universities of California campuses on several California state universities. However, the strength of City College goes beyond degrees and transfers. It provides real on-hands education in one of the largest certificate programs in the country. Whether you're looking to enter a technical field, healthcare, or start a business, City College offers hundreds of classes taught by faculty who are deeply committed to their students. Not teaching assistants, but experts who focuses on teaching. Yet despite all of this, not every San Francisco has had access to these resources. Financial barriers prevent too many of their residents from even considering college. Free City College removes these barriers, ensuring that anyone who wants to learn, grow, and contribute to our society can do so without being weighed down by debt and financial anxiety. Let's look at the numbers. In fall of 2024, the numbers of credited classes has dropped by nearly 1,800 from the previous year, despite the increase in number of students. That means that more students are seeking education, but we need to ensure that their access remains open and robust. Programs like Free City College are more important than ever to keep these opportunities available. As San Francisco faces challenges, we must continue to invest in education. Free City College is about more than just education. It's about providing our residents with the tools that they need to thrive in an ever-changing world. It's about creating a pipeline of skilled workers for local businesses, and it's about empowering people to break the cycle of poverty through education. Education should never be a privilege. It should be a right. By offering free tuition at City College, we are giving everyone, no matter their background, a fair chance to succeed. Free City College is not just the beginning, it's a crucial step towards a more equitable future of San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. And unfortunately, it's not only San Francisco City College that has been under attack, community college, but also K through 12. And we just had a situation here where there was a plan to close 11 public schools in San Francisco, shutting down community schools and for the community, for working class community, including Malcolm X Academy in Hunters Point. And this, again, in a city with many billionaires, over 50 billionaires in San Francisco. So why are we shutting down schools? Well, in San Francisco, there are a lot of private schools and they're charter schools. And there's been a drive to have more charter schools and more privatization. And that became an issue in the election, and our next speaker actually called with the community, with parents at a school, that it not be shut down. As a result of that, it became a political issue in San Francisco. And they decided not to close the schools temporarily. So we want to say that this rally is, we've invited all the candidates to speak it, and we think that the issue of City College should be an issue in the election. People should be talking about protecting our community college. So our next speaker is Supervisor Aron Peskin, who's running for mayor. Welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and thank you to AFT 2121 and to all of the students and lifelong learners. Let me start by saying that corporate America has been very intentionally and deliberately trying to commoditize all sorts of things that used to be part of the public commons. It has happened in the realm of housing that Wall Street has invested heavily in, and it has happened in the realm of public education with charter schools. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but what Barbara Bono and the folks who tried to de-accredit this institution were doing was ultimately to benefit privatizing public education. The same is true of the charter school movement in the United States of America, and even San Francisco is not a nerd. And I'm very proud of San Francisco because the city actually came together. The city attorney at that time, Dennis Herrera, students, faculty, everyday San Franciscans, and we not only sued, but as a community pushed back against the state de-accreditation, and we succeeded. And we had Nancy Pelosi on our side, and we had Jackie Spear on our side, and out of that came something that was truly radical, which was going back to the promise of the vision of public education in California, and that led us to Free City College. And I salute Jane Kim for taking the lead in that, and now that promise is being eroded. And that was a response because we wanted to reinvigorate the enrollment at City College so that it could get back on its feet. The people of San Francisco said yes by voting for Prop A in those days and giving this institution the capital dollars that it needed. And we then responded as the Board of Supervisors and did something that is fantastic public policy, which is making it free for San Franciscans to go to City College. The city in City College is the city of San Francisco. This used to be part of the city of San Francisco. And if you are a student of government, you know that this is a unique situation. The mayor appoints to vacancies on the college board. Our civil service bodies are the same. When we are in an economic recession, as we were when I was president of the board back in 2007, 2008, and we had layoffs in the school district, and we had layoffs in the college district, we had layoffs at the city, our staff bumped around because we are all part of the same civil service system. So we are intimately connected, and this is a moment in time where we've got to, I mean, let's talk about this election. $53 million have been spent on this local set of elections. $53 million. It is unprecedented. If these billionaires would stop worrying about who's going to be on the board of supervisors and who's going to be mayor and just let democracy work, that $53 million could go into Free City College, and we could actually have, I mean, what is the fundamental thing that democracy needs? It's education. It is access by all communities to education. And here what's happening in San Francisco, you know, we keep being told that democracy is on the ballot in Washington, D.C. Democracy is on the ballot in San Francisco. We need to push back against these billionaires who want to privatize public education, turn all of our housing into highly priced commodities, and start having a free city college. It's the same as K through 12. That is the promise of higher education in San Francisco, and I commend you, and let's get this thing done.
Thanks, Aaron. And we hope everyone says that City College, community college has to be defended. It's an issue for the entire people of San Francisco and the working class. So we have another musician, and we've had some great musicians already. And he was the former director of the San Jose Community College Labor Studies Program, a member of AFT down there, and also in the Musicians Union. I have to say, there was just a strike today of the court workers, and the symphony singers, choristas have been on strike. So there's a big strike wave going on in San Francisco and around the country of working people trying to survive. And we know the students who come here are trying to survive. Many of them have to work 2 jobs, and they have to go to school. And the state is saying you have to graduate within 2 years or the college will be punished. So let's welcome Jimmy Kelly, labor troubadour.
I'm also, I have to say, I took music lessons here at City College from Lenny Carlson before he retired, and so I feel like I have a special privilege to be here. My labor studies program has been canceled, so there are no classes in labor studies at City College in San Jose. So we got to keep City College going, and the way we do it is to work together, stand together, and I said teachers want to be learning. I said students want to be graduating. Custodians want to be cleaning. And workers want to be working. I'm so glad we're standing here today, 'cause when we stand together, together we all win. Solidarity until the end. We gotta keep on marching till we all get higher ed. The sciences wanna be experimenting. Artists wanna be creating. Coaches wanna be training. Librarians wanna see reading. I'm so glad we're standing here today, 'cause when we stand together, together we all win. With solidarity till the end, we gotta keep on marching till we all get the higher ed. Higher ed, get the higher ed. Higher ed, I said teachers. I said workers. And don't forget the most important part, our students.
Thank you, Jimmy. I wanted to say that also there is a labor studies program here at San Francisco City College, and it as well is suffering. We should have, in San Francisco, we have a great labor history. There was a general strike in 1934 that shut down the city and brought hundreds of thousands of workers into unions in San Francisco and around the Bay Area. So that history needs to be taught here at San Francisco City College so people know their own history. We need to build up our program so the corporations are not interested in us learning about our real working class history. but a labor studies program can help do that. So our next speaker is James Tracy, who's the chair of the San Francisco City College Labor Studies Program. Welcome, James.
All right, everybody. My name is James Tracy. I'm the chair of Labor and Community Studies at City College of San Francisco. We are a department that has many decades of history, going back to the old California labor schools, which is now where SEIU 1877 is in the Tenderloin. We are durable. We are coming back. We suffered quite a few cuts a few years back. Our enrollment's finally up. And we're happy to say that we've actually hired 5 new amazing working class teachers to teach the people's history, to teach people how to organize unions, to teach people how to organize for their tenant rights. Wherever they're attacked, they can fight back. But what really disturbs me as the chair of a department that serves the needs of working class people is that we're cutting the EMT programs. We have 20 people that can't, only 20 people are allowed to enter the EMT programs. That we've gotten rid of so many things at the Evans campus that put people directly into really good paying jobs, and that ain't right. No. That ain't right. I went here. I am an alum of City College of San Francisco. I love this place. We throw around the word love a lot, but I think that when you go around, if you were to talk to 10 people, as long as they're not like completely yuppie in San Francisco, you go down and say, "What's your connection to San Francisco?" Most people are going to say, "Hey, I got my leg up in the world because of this. I got a good job. I was able to find services that I need. I learned a new language," right? And that's what they want to take away, right? The powers that be, the neoliberal folks, people throw that word around a lot too, and the austerity agenda want to shrink this place down where you get in and you get out. As a teacher, I want you to get in, and I want you to get out when you want to get out, right? Because we have working families here. They're not going to be in here, with kids. We have senior citizens. They're not going to get in and get out and get down the street to state. Their educational journeys might be a little bit different, and that's all right. So thank you very much to HEAT for organizing this. Thanks to all the speakers. Let's keep organizing. I want you to picture. Be a little California here, right? Use some creative visualization. Visualize the next time that we gather that we have 500 people, and the next time after that we have 1,000 people, then 10,000 people, then the vision of Free City College. After that goes nationwide when we beat back the Trump agenda, take back our cities and the soul of this nation back. Thank you.
So we have another speaker who's running for mayor of San Francisco, and as we said earlier, we believe, and this is one of the reasons we're having this rally today, is that the survival of San Francisco City College is at stake. Because if they continue to lay off professors, if they continue to prevent students from getting classes, that's an issue for the public education in San Francisco, for all working people. So our next speaker is Asha Safai, running for mayor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Asha. How you guys doing? Good. You ready to fight? Right. Are you ready to fight? Right. All right. Listen, I can remember almost 16 years ago, I was the political director for the Janitors Union, Local 87. And we stood on the front lines making sure that we saved City College. At the time, it was about saving City College from being taken over by the state and transformed into something that it's not. It's not a place that we should be rejecting people that need ESL classes. It's not a place that we shouldn't be embracing more education for older adults. I have the most older adults aging in place in my district. I'm the current supervisor from the Excelsior Outer Mission, and this is a lifeline for our community. It's a place that newly arrived immigrants, older adults, young people that are transitioning onto college come, and continuing education, people that just have a love for education, should be able to come to this place always and forever. And that's what San Francisco values are all about. So we need more classes offered in the spring of 2025. We want the commitment to complete the Performing Arts Center, right? That's one of the demands that we have. I know there's concern about student parking as well because there's a whole bunch of development going on. And let's remember, all the old-time San Franciscans, people that have been here for a while, we refer to this as Harvard on the Hill, right? People love the fact that this is a place that you can get continuing education. So I fought for free city college. I was one of the very first things we did when I was on the Board of Supervisors in my first year. We made sure that the mandate of the voters and those that have fought for this, that City College would be free, okay? And it was only in this budget for the first time that this mayor reneged on a deal that we made with the Board of Supervisors, right? That's not okay. We were going to go to the ballot. We were going to put a set aside for free city college, and there was an agreement. There was a memorandum of understanding that said we would honor free city college, and it was in this year's budget that some of that money was taken back because the argument was that it hadn't been utilized yet. Well, how are we going to get more students to come back and participate and take more classes and get some of the adjunct professors that were asked to leave or laid off? How are we going to get them back if we don't fully utilize that money? So I'm here to say I have always and forever fought for Free City College. I will fight to the death to protect this institution, and I will do it with you. Thank you very much.
One of the things that we should all realize is that this is a very rich country, and in other countries in Europe, students actually get paid to go to college, and it's all free. Now, we have to ask ourselves, why is it the case that in other countries poorer than the United States, students are paid to go to college, and they don't have to pay fees and go into debt to go to college? We have a real problem with this system, and we've been talking about it, the fact that the billionaires that run this country don't believe that we have a right to have public education. And one of the great things, it is capitalism, and one of the great things about City College, which has been destroyed, was the older adults program. We used to have a great program at City College for older adults, and the fact of the matter is older adults need public education. They need these classes. We had Fort Mason, which was a great art center. It was a great art center where working class adults and young people could go and get art. What's wrong with getting art in this country, in this city? We need it, and it should be a right. And our next speaker was one of the organizers of the fight to keep Fort Mason open, which they voted to close. And actually, it was bad for City College, it was bad for the older adults, and it's bad for artists and people who want to use art to express themselves. So welcome, Marilee Horn.
Thank you, Steve. I'm going to just speak briefly. I was a teacher at San Francisco Unified for 38 years. When I retired, I ran, not walked, but ran down to Fort Mason so that I could take as many art classes as possible. We had an OLAD program, older adults program, at that time, and there were 58 different classes. At Fort Mason, they were primarily art classes, but we had 58 classes strewn throughout the whole of San Francisco, so that older adults had a place to go to take classes for continuing ed, for community, so that they weren't isolated, so that they could continue being learners. All right, that was closed down. That center was closed down, and we had over 100 taking classes there at that time, the art classes. Now, at that time, the Board of Education said, oh, not to worry. Once we've closed this down, we are going to open up classes for you at the Chinatown Center. To this day, that was never done. 2 classrooms were promised to be reconfigured so that they could serve as art rooms. It never happened. It never happened. At Fort Mason also, there are ramps there, so anybody who was not physically able to handle stairs or couldn't walk distances were accommodated with the ramps. And so it made going to classes easier for them. I just recall one woman who had a stroke and everybody was trying to bet whether or not we would see her again. She showed up, 92 years old after a stroke. That's what it was so important to her to continue with classes. So I am asking everybody here to understand the importance of older adult education and to bring back the classes here. No, we're not going on to State College or to wherever else, but we are continuing to meet in classes, to continue education, to continue community and feeling alive and as though we actually belong. Now, as far as I know, we're still paying taxes, so we still should be offered classes. So we are part of the community and are important to the community. And I hope when you reach my age, which I'm not going to tell right now, but when you reach my age, then you will have an opportunity to take classes in something that you will enjoy. So thank you very much.
And let's say that this is a life and death question for older adults. Having these classes, having social interaction. If people remember during COVID, what happened, people were isolated. And a lot of the seniors, a lot of the older adults in San Francisco passed away as a result of no social interaction. So we need classes for older adults, we need classes for young people, and we need classes for musicians and the Performing Arts Education Center. So our next performer is going to be Anthony, who's in the music department. Welcome, Anthony.
My name is Anthony Blay. I've been teaching at City College now for 16, 17 years. Unfortunately, 3 of those years, I wasn't teaching anything because of COVID, and I feel like those classes were taken away. They took advantage of the situation, and they finally called me back after 3 years. I didn't think I was ever coming back. Fortunately, they saved my violin class, and we're trying to get orchestra back, and it would be nice if we had a performing arts center, because the building that I teach in over there is older than me, and I'm not going to say my age either. But here's some music.
This rally that we're having today is not just for City College, it's for all working people in San Francisco, because a lot of public services are coming under attack or being privatized, outsourced. There's a big corruption crisis in San Francisco, as everyone knows. Part of that corruption crisis is outsourcing of public services. There are many workers in San Francisco, thousands and thousands, who are doing public work, home care workers, cleaning the streets. They're doing public work, but they're not public workers. Why is that? Because the billionaires have found a way of cutting wages of workers by outsourcing and privatization. So these workers are doing public work and they're not making living wages. We have to demand that if you live and work in San Francisco and do public work, you should be a public worker. You should get public pay so you can survive. You can't live on $18 or $19 an hour in San Francisco, and the gentrification that has gone on in San Francisco has meant that working people are being pushed out. That's one of the reasons for the decline of working class population. So our next speaker is a leader of the San Francisco General Hospital workers, Brenda Barrows, who's been fighting not only for the workers there, but against racism and bullying on the job. And there's an epidemic of bullying in this country and racist attacks. So welcome, Brenda Barrows.
Hello, everybody. I'm here, number one, because I am somebody who benefited from City College. I have gone here 3 different times throughout my different careers. I became a unit clerk here at this training. I've become a medical assistant training here. And I've also done coordination and computer classes here. So as you can tell by my age, I'm older. But when I first came here was when the hospital where I worked, San Francisco General, I've been there since 1979, when they moved from paper to computers. There was no other place that the workers could go get training. Almost a majority of the people I know, they all came to City College. So City College is a very important resource for people who are just beginning to work and people who are in the workforce already. As these things change, you know, we're going through changes again, and so the skills that people need are a little bit different. And there's really nowhere other than City College for people to go and get those trainings. Now, they could pay a whole bunch of money and go to UC Berkeley or somewhere like that, but there's nowhere for regular working people to go that they can afford. So we need to protect City College at all costs. You know, I feel like I'm an example of what it can do, right? In my community, a lot of people who look like me, they don't have any resources to get education and all that. You know, I was lucky. I had the parents I had, and so I was able to do it. And back then, we had to pay for City College. It wasn't free. And so I think the fact that keeping it free makes it more accessible to everyone. Right now, it's accessible to most people, and it needs to stay that way. Now that they've gotten it, they need to keep it. And there are a lot of other things in this city budget that can be cut other than City College, which is something that helps everyone, right? There's a lot of little pocket things out there that only help different groups of people. But this is one of the few things in San Francisco that helps everyone. And it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what age you are, City College is for everybody, and we need to keep it. And so to city government, I say, you can find money for all these other things. You know, we're sending millions and millions of dollars overseas for different things. Put some of that money back here for us, because we should be the priority. Always we should be the priority. So that's what I had to say, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda. And when you think about the money that's being spent on wars abroad, trillions of dollars, the money that's going to Israel for this genocide, and yet in this country, we don't have national health care. People are going bankrupt because of medical bills. Something is seriously wrong. So our next speaker is a former chemistry instructor and also with AFT 2121 and is with the Freedom Socialist Party. Welcome, Bob Price.
Hello, everyone. thank you all for coming out today. It's really important that we be here. This one? It's really important that we be here to stop these cuts to City College. As Steve said in his introduction, I was in the chemistry department here for 34 years as an instructor, retired just 3 years ago. And, you know, it's unforgivable and egregious, the cuts they've done to various departments, especially all the community courses, the older adults, the cell courses that are so vital to the community. All the ethnic studies departments are always under attack. But even hardcore academic departments like mine were cut. When I retired, I have not been replaced yet. I retired along with one other person that year. Neither one of us was replaced, and people have retired in that department since then. So you may have heard that along with English, like English 1A, people can't get English 1A. They need that, not only to go to a four-year transfer, but for various purposes, English 1A is required. Well, many chemistry courses are required for people in technical fields, and nursing, you know, that was brought up before, and hospital work, as Brenda was saying. So the cuts are affecting all kinds of majors, the community. Anything that anyone wants to do at City College has been made so much harder to do based on these administrations that we've been having for the last, you know, it seems like 15 or 20 years now. Years ago, we had a fight here to stop the ACCJC, the accrediting agency, from taking away the college's accreditation. Well, they're making rumblings again that we've heard about. And they've succeeded, it seems, in dividing people somewhat on the campus, which is really sad, because we all really need to be together to get the college back to the way it should be for the community and respond to the community needs. But this is what happens when we live in a system as we do, where profit is king, and that's all that matters to the people who make the decisions. And so we really need to push, we need to use these kinds of demonstrations for improving education and keeping the education that we deserve to get us all together to change the system too, because if we don't do that, we're going to keep seeing this where billionaires are taking money from public entities. They want to cut the public entities so that their profits get even higher, and it just needs to stop. So we need to get rid of that system. That's capitalism. So I really thank you again for being out here. Let's fight. Let's find alternatives, because both of our major parties are hurtling toward the right to see who can be the worst on immigrants, who can outdo the other on immigrants, right? They want to blame immigrants for everything. This has to stop. We need something like a Labor Party that represents working class interests that we can all be part of and use not only at the elections, but also to organize on a regular basis. So let's all keep working together and move in that direction. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. As I was saying earlier, that the attack on City College is not the only attack on public education. San Francisco State College has also had layoffs of faculty and adjuncts. So classes there are being attacked. And our next speaker, Nikki Trasvina, was a worker at San Francisco State, and has been said to me, I've been again and again coming back to fight for City College. Why is it never ending? And that's a reality. So welcome, Nikki, for the continuing struggle to defend San Francisco Community College.
Hi, everybody. Nikki Trasvina. I'm here for so many reasons. First of all, the beautiful flyer that Marilyn made mentioned older adult programming. I'm retired now from San Francisco State, and I work with seniors. And the seniors were really loving so much coming here for art and dance and language and literature, and that's been taken away from them. I'm here because my dad was a student here around 1935, one of the first classes. My sister and her husband began their educational career to become teachers in the 60s, and they were friends with O.J. Simpson back in the day. And I got to be a counselor here around 2000. So the main reason I'm here is because the president of AFC at that time was my good friend Roger Scott. And I got an email from Roger today who wanted to be here, but he couldn't be here. So I said, well, for Roger, I really have to be here because he was, the heart and soul of the faculty. He fought so much, and he continues to, for the teachers, for the staff, and for the students. And we're in this all together. So I'm here for Roger. And I'm also here because in 2009, I was able to enjoy the company of the AFT leadership at that time, and that was Vicki Legion, Kathy Burrick, Leslie Simon, Bill Shields, tremendous people that we worked with together, San Francisco State and City, to keep City College going, to keep it alive, to keep it from being destroyed. And at that time, we asked my son to make these posters. This was in 2009. And my son, AJ Tresvenia, made these posters for us that says, education is a human right. And I keep thinking, how long are we going to keep fighting this? My son passed away after he made these posters for us. He made them in the evening, and the next morning he had passed away. And the kids came to my home and they picked up these posters and they used them. And I want to continue to use them because this is what we all believe in and what AJ helped us visualize, that education is a human right. So I'm here on behalf of my son AJ as well. And thank you all for your strength, for the power in numbers to keep City College the backbone of San Francisco, the backbone of the workforce, and the backbone of helping our immigrant young people and every age people come here to learn English, for other people to advance in their careers, to learn new skills. This is a gold mine, and to have it tarnished the way it's been is a crime. So remember, what AJ said, education is a human right, and hi, Roger. Thank you.
Struggle in education is all over the place, all over this country, all over the world, as a matter of fact. In fact, in Argentina right now, there's an occupation of the higher education universities because the fascist president of Argentina, Javier Milei, wants to destroy public education. He said, we don't want any more public colleges. So they've cut the budget. So the students there's a mass student movement of occupation in Argentina of the universities, and they said, we're not going to allow you to shut us down. And this is a major challenge to the Malay government. And the fact of the matter is, in California, in this country, we have to have the same kind of action. What they're doing in Argentina, we need to do here. And if you look at what's going on at UC right today, 100,000 workers may be going on strike. There's AFSCME, 3299. These workers, service workers, are facing a contract fight for living wages and for housing. There's UPD, which are the technical employees. Their contract is coming up and they're taking a strike vote, 20,000 workers at UPD. And there's also UAW 4811. Near 50,000 graduate students and academic workers. Now, what I think is necessary is for us to unite with them and for them to unite. If we all unite together, we have the power to win what we need. There's lots of money in this state of California. There are many billionaires. They want to spend money to go to Mars, and they don't have money for a kid to go to college? What kind of country is that we're in? It's insane. So we have to unite, and our next speaker is John Holmes, who was with the AFT and Laney College, who was on the executive board, and he's fighting to get his job back because they're laying off teachers and they're not even going to have history classes at the rate they're going. Welcome, John Holmes.
Thank you, Steve. Actually, Merritt, the proud home of the Black Panther Party, is where I can't get a job right now. The cutbacks in the Peralta system, that's the sister across the bay of CCSF, the four colleges, Laney, Merritt, COA, and BCC. That's the East Bay equivalent. And the cutbacks aren't quite as bad there as they are.
Speak closer to the mic. No, speak closer to the mic, yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, the cutbacks aren't quite as bad there as they are here, but they're pretty damn bad, especially in fields like history. At Merritt College this fall, they're down to 2 history classes. And one of those classes had some 20 people on the wait list, so I went to my department head and say, look, can you put me on for a spare 8-week class? And he went to the dean, and the dean said to him, well, yeah, that would be nice, but we're over our FTE, so we cannot add any classes for any reason, including, I heard from my sources, there's another class which had 30 people on the waiting list. So that's what's going on at Peralta. Now, why is this happening to Peralta, and why is this happening to CCSF, and why is this happening stronger there than in some other places? Is because what CCSF and the Peralta system have in common is that they are the classes where poor people, black people, Latinos go. And that's why they always get the bad end of the stick in the United States of America, because it's a racist country. And that's a fact. That's what's going on here. And I'll tell you something. I spent 4 years on the executive committee representing the adjuncts, the part-timers on the executive council of AFT 1603. And so I got very familiar with exactly what was going on. And let me tell you about what it all comes down from the top. It comes from Gavin Newsom and ultimately from Jerry Brown. Here in the bluest of blue states, California, there's a deliberate policy to downsize the community colleges. And the basic idea, that's nationwide. It came from Obama, in fact. But Obama wanted to downsize, the educational opportunities and concentrate on vocational stuff. Well, Gavin Newsom, the yuppie mayor, went a little further. He wants to downsize vocational stuff too. Like during the pandemic at Merritt College, they were cutting nursing classes. And you even had local businesses complaining, saying, we can't get the people, even cutting vocations. The basic idea of the master plan in California is to take all the community colleges and turn them into feeder colleges for the 4-year colleges where middle class and upperly mobility students whose grades were not good enough to get into one of the 4-year schools could take some classes and be able to bounce into Cal State Hayward or whatever, That's the only mission of the colleges. And they've even, about a year or so ago, they actually removed preparatory classes from the mission statement for the community colleges. So they're abolishing remedial reading classes for victims of the Oakland public school system, and of all the other public schools. It's just insane what they're doing in the community college. And why are they doing this? It's because, like Bob Price said, it's all about that we've got two twin parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and there's no difference between them except in words. Basically, they're the parties of the ruling class. And what we need. And it's really funny for people here in San Francisco to talk about supporting Kamala the cop, and people saw what she was like when she was a DA here. They talk about her being joyful. She was never more joyful than when locking up a black kid or pushing for the death penalty. That was Kamala the cop, who was supposed to be our next president. And what we need indeed is a workers' party, and not just any old workers' party. The fact is, everything wrong in America is because nothing gets made unless someone makes a buck off of it. We have this system called capitalism. We need a workers' party to unite all the oppressed and to fight for socialism. That's the kind of workers' party we need.
I want to recognize Madeline Mueller first, who's been head of the music department and fighting for the Performing Education Arts Center for decades. And she is relentless, really, in struggling for it. So let's give a hand to Madeline for her struggle to get that Performing Education Arts Center. I really appreciate it. She's a wonderful asset, a great person making her life work, giving art, giving music, and fighting for a center for the musicians in San Francisco. So our last speaker is Rick Baum. I'm a member of HEAT, the Higher Education Action Team. I hope you all come to our next meeting. And he has had an article in the 48 Hills, but there's been an attack on City College, and the Chronicle, unfortunately, has led that attack, blaming the students, blaming the trustees, and not saying that there's an organized political attack by the FICMAT in these organizations to attack City College. So that's one of the reasons, again, that we're having this rally to address the kind of political attacks that are coming from the corporations. And the Chronicle is owned by the Hearst. And the Hearst itself is a developer in San Francisco. They've supported the gentrification in San Francisco. They're supporting more big buildings and developers really ruining San Francisco. So welcome, Rick Baum.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. It's great. After we're done here, I hope that you go inside and tell the board what you think and what you think they should be doing. I also want to point out, because some people have been referring to it, the number of billionaires that we have in California. I just looked recently at Mark Zuckerberg's wealth, our friend at Facebook. His wealth just this year alone has gone up by $70 billion. That's $70 billion. California is claiming they have a deficit in the next couple of years of $50 billion. He alone could finance that deficit. And that's what we keep on being hit with, is that there's not money available for public goods and public services. One of the things that we find over and over again at City College is the people in charge, there's a huge disconnect between what they say and what they do. The current interim chancellor says we have to put students first. Our priority should be students. Yet, when it comes to an action, he refuses to offer more classes. He has no problems. When he was asked about this, he said, well, every school has a wait list. And yet there are literally hundreds, if not thousands of students who could not get into classes. And they're always telling us that, well, we need to serve our students and do a better job doing so. Well, you can't serve students unless you have classes for them. And he refuses to add more classes. Now, what are their excuses for not adding more classes? They say, we have projected deficits. That in the future, the school is going to be in deep trouble financially. So therefore, we have to put more money into the reserve account now so that we can prepare for the future. Well, they've been saying this for years, and the AFT 2121 does budget analysis, and every time they show that instead of the projected deficits that they talk about, they end up with a surplus. So in other words, it's just an ongoing lie that they present us with, and that they do have the funds. They have over $30 million right now in the reserve account. They should be tapping into it and offering more classes for the spring. But I believe he's going to refuse to do so because he says we have to live within our means. He also at Flex Day the other day told us that we should not make an effort to get more money because we have to first live within our means. Now, again, a deficit could easily be solved by taking some of the money from a person like Mark Zuckerberg. If the deficit is $12 million, that's like if you're walking on the street and you see a penny in the gutter, do you bend over and pick it up? Well, $12 million or $30 million, that's like pennies in the gutter for someone like Zuckerberg. That's nothing. I mean, he's worth $200 billion. It's not just him. There's a bunch of them. And there's just absolutely no excuse. But as people pointed out, we live in a capitalist society, and our capitalist society is increasingly becoming more and more wasteful and irrational. It's wasteful and irrational. Many people are engaged in meaningless jobs. It puts money into marketing and advertising so people buy crap that they don't need. It squanders billions and literally billions of dollars, not on improving life, but in destroying life by putting money into the military. And so we're an extremely wealthy society. There's absolutely no excuse for what we've experienced in California, a state dominated by the Democrats. What is happening in the state dominated by the Democrats? There's increasingly more and more homeless people. There's increasingly more and more people who are housing insecure, who can't afford a place to live. And it always blows my mind away when I read about this, but something like 40% of all college students are food insecure. How on earth can such a wealthy society, wealthier than it ever was before, not provide these basic needs for people living in the state? And yet the alternative party, the Democrats, are the ones in charge in California, and this is what they're offering us. I do want to mention, I don't think I mentioned at the beginning, that we learned today that Phil Day, who was the former chancellor at the college, has endorsed this rally and our 3 demands. So it tells you something. The rally was also endorsed by 2 former presidents of AFT 2121. I mean, that to me is both sides of the equation. And again, I just hope in the future that we'll have to plan other follow-up actions that you can join us and bring more people. Thanks again for being here today. Appreciate it. If you got the time, do go to the board and give them a piece of your mind. And they need to hear it. And that chancellor is getting paid $330,000 a year also needs to hear from them. Thank you very much. What? Oh, Heat's meeting on Fridays. It's on our flyer. It's on our website. Fridays at 4. Thanks for mentioning that. If you want to come, you're welcome to come to our Heat meeting. And hopefully we'll see more of you in the future. But again, thanks so much for showing up today.
Thank you. And we're going to close it off with another song by labor troubadour Jimmy Kelly.
With the students' inspiration, and in the professor's blood shall run. There can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But with the union, yeah, the union makes us strong. Solidarity with the students and the teachers. Solidarity forever. You gotta have it. Solidarity forever. People are fighting for solidarity forever. With the union, yeah, the union makes us strong. I just want to mention, you know, I'm a student. I go to Chabot College. And during the pandemic, they have a program for older adults. And it's a great program. It keeps people healthy and it keeps people going. So we had like 50 people in the swimming pool all during the pandemic getting their health back in shape and protecting them from diseases and lots of other things. They have a weight class, they have lots of classes for seniors. So it's important that people realize that community colleges are for lifelong learning. And that's really a crisis. What happened to me, I had a series of 6 strokes. And when I had trouble speaking, I went to the theater department. And they taught me how to get my memory back and how to speak again. And then I started writing, and something I couldn't do. I couldn't read a daily paper. But then I started writing again, and this is the kind of thing that's not going to be mentioned in the board meetings, that's not going to be mentioned in a debate over budgets. But the fact is that what we have in the education system is an opportunity to make people better from the beginning of their school year until their last breath. And that's what we have to fight for, and that's what we have to protect. So thank you. I lost my program while I was sick, so I couldn't fight for it at that time. But you're here today to be able to fight for tomorrow. So when we all stick together, we'll win. And with the union, inspiration, through the workers' blood shall run. There can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? With the union, yeah, the union makes us. The union, yeah, the union makes us. The union, yeah, it is the union that makes us strong. Solidarity.
Thank you.